Imagine waking up completely drained and exhausted. You know you aren't coming down with a cold and you didn't stay up late the night before. Instead, you feel it mentally. You can feel the weight of the work week, the academic pressure, and the responsibilities ahead weighing you down mentally. Where even getting out of bed feels like more effort than you can handle. You tell yourself you have to push through it because that's what everyone's expecting from you. But each day the pressure builds up and you feel like you're running on empty. Unfortunately for many, this is not a hypothetical situation. Every day, millions of people face overwhelming stress, anxiety, and burnout without having the time to recover. This can develop into chronic stress. According to the National Library of Medicine, chronic stress can lead to depression, negatively impact the immune system, and in the long term, cause damage to organs which can lead to a higher risk of certain diseases. Ignoring our mental health can have serious consequences. Today, I want to persuade you that mental health days should be normalized because they help prevent burnout, improve productivity, and encourage people to care for their mental health without feeling ashamed. I'm sure almost everyone in this room has had a day when they simply just weren't okay mentally. Whether it's college assignments, work responsibilities, financial stress, family problems, or even a personal struggle, we all carry these invisible burdens. Taking care of our mental health should not be viewed any differently than taking care of our physical health. I will start by correcting 3 common misconceptions about mental health days. Then we'll gain a deeper insight by going over research and statistics that demonstrate how serious stress has become in America. Finally, I'll explain real-life consequences of ignoring mental health and why preventative action matters. It's time to debunk some common mental myths about mental health days. Okay. Mental health days are often misunderstood as a way to skip on responsibilities, but the facts show that they are a healthy, effective way to relieve and manage stress before it develops into something much worse. The first myth is that mental health days are just an excuse to skip school or work. While it may seem that way, it's quite different. Taking one day to recover mentally can prevent burnout and allow someone to return feeling more focused, productive, and motivated. Just like resting after a physical injury helps you heal, allowing your mind to recover helps you to perform better. The second myth is that only people with diagnosed mental illnesses need mental health days. The truth is that everyone experiences stress. Whether you have a diagnosed mental illness or not, we all have a limit, and everyone can benefit from taking the time to recharge before their stress reaches an unhealthy level. The final myth is that needing a mental health day means you're weak, when in fact, it means the complete opposite. To be able to recognize when you're reaching your limit demonstrates your responsibility and self-awareness. It takes strength to admit that you need help rather than pretending that everything is okay. By understanding these facts instead of myths, we can begin removing the stigma surrounding mental health and encourage people to seek help before the stress becomes overwhelming. Now that we've corrected some common misconceptions about mental health days, let's look over what the research tells us. Now that we have, I'm repeating myself. One of the strongest pieces of evidence supporting mental health days comes from the American Psychological Association's Stress in America 2025 report. If you look at the graph on the screen, you'll notice that stress remains extremely high amongst Americans. The report explains that many people feel overwhelmed by work, finances, relationships, and uncertainty about the future. The graph also shows that people experiencing higher levels of stress are much more likely to report symptoms like anxiety, exhaustion, emotional fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. These aren't isolated problems. They're becoming increasingly common. According to the American Psychological Association, these ongoing stress levels can negatively affect both mental and physical health if left untreated. This graph demonstrates something important. Stress isn't simply a part of life that everyone should ignore. It's a growing health issue. If we continue treating mental health differently from physical health, we're allowing preventable problems to become much more serious. Statistics can tell an important story, but real life experiences reflect why this issue is so important. Americans are experiencing an increase in stress and burnout levels, making mental health days more important than ever. I want you to imagine someone sitting alone after another exhausting day. They're overwhelmed, they haven't been sleeping well, they're emotionally exhausted, and each morning feels harder than the one before. They know they need a break, but they're afraid to ask because they're worried people think they're lazy or unreliable. According to the National Alliance of Mental Illnesses 2025 Workplace Mental Health Poll, 42% of employees worry that their careers could suffer if they speak openly about their mental health. So instead, they keep working. They keep pretending everything is fine, and they keep ignoring the warning signs. Eventually, their stress turns into burnout. Maybe they begin struggling with anxiety or depression. Maybe their work performance suffers. Maybe their relationships begin falling apart. NAMI also found that 1 out of every 4 employees has considered quitting their job because of mental health concerns, and about 7% actually quit because of those struggles. Imagine how different that story could be if taking one single mental health day was viewed as responsible rather than shameful. 1 day to rest, 1 day to speak with a counselor, 1 day to reconnect with family, and 1 day to recover before reaching that breaking point. Normalizing mental health days permits people to care for themselves before stress develops into something much more serious. Now that we understand the facts and the personal impacts of mental health days, or the lack thereof, have, what can we do about it? I would like to leave you with 2 questions. First, would everyone here be willing to support requiring every school and every workplace in America to provide a dedicated paid mental health days as part of their official policies? If you would, please raise your hand. Thank you. As policy changes take time to go into effect, here's a more personal request. Would you be willing to check in on yourself, a friend, a classmate, or a coworker the next time you see the warning signs of burnout, and be in support of a mental health day when it's needed? If so, please raise your hand. Thank you. Real change happens one step at a time. The more we normalize conversations about mental health and show compassion to those who are struggling, the more comfortable people become asking for help before it's too late. Mental health affects each and every one of us. Taking care of it should not be a shameful experience. It should be something that we are encouraged to do. Thank you.